What up, everybody? Randy back here at the New Bike Works shop, going over that 1970s-ish panhead chopper build we done a little while back. So I don't think we've actually done a review on everything that we've done, all the parts we've used. So this is gonna be it for all you guys that have been beating us up, wanting to know what the process, where we're at on it is. So here's what we got. 1950 panhead, original engine case, original transmission, original frame. Now the engine's been bored, it's been stroked, it's been cammed. We are pushing quite a bit more cubic inch, a little bit more power. Done a Morris G5 magneto, run an S&S Super E carburetor. So as all you guys remember when we were doing all the build, all the linkage has been stretched and changed to fit a taller guy. We rebuilt the transmission, had it all chromed. I built these pipes to be kind of a long upsweep gooseneck cut. We're running a factory style oil filter, factory-ish, all hard lines. Now I had Jack Larson up in Kansas City do the engine work as far as do the machining, put new spigots on for the exhaust valves because they were pretty eroded away. So what we've done here is I put the customer's name on this side of the neck. The neck, if you guys remember, we done all this in steel, boxed it, stretched it up and out to fit the 6-over front end. We are running just an old style lever on the front. A lot of guys have been asking me, what's the deal with that? They can't quite grasp it. Notice there's no master cylinder, but on the front wheel, we're running a hydraulic brake. You ask, how does that work? We'll walk around to the other side and I'll show you. So what we got going on here is I took a Buell rear master cylinder, built linkage. If you can take a look down here, all this is just kind of haphazardly built. So when you pull the lever, as you watch here, it pushes on the hydraulic master cylinder plunger, converts to hydraulic, all the way down to the new front hydraulic brake. Right here is our reservoir for it. We just color matched it to the frame to try to make it disappear as much as we could. Continue on with the electronics here. We're running underneath the original generator cover. We've converted to a solid state voltage regulator, so it's housed underneath the cover here. All the wires are ran through the frame, up underneath the seat to the battery. Moving down here, this is one of the coolest tricks. So if you guys have been following this, I used to have a big arm that ran out and operated this clutch. This is a CFM auto clutch. So the difficulty in running a CFM auto clutch with a kick-only bike is you got to lock up the clutch to make it turn the engine. So that arm that came out had a mechanism on the end. That's how we applied clutch pressure. So what we got here is, this is a part that I designed and had my machinist build out for me. It bolts onto the outer clutch hub ring where the CFM auto clutch bolts up to. Now underneath of this big dome, solid piece of aluminum, is the mechanism that makes this an auto clutch. So you can't see it. If you've seen any of the other videos, you've seen what that outside plate looks like. So what I've got going on here is, this is aluminum. I've got a brass insert, steel thread, and steel knob. Now this has got a lockout on it. So as this clutch turns counterclockwise, engine's running, how do you lock up the clutch and make it to where it doesn't just spin it out? So we've done left-hand thread. And the way you lock it up is you just turn it in, and that applies your clutch pressure. So once this bike is to RPM, this clutch rod will move itself back. You'll be able to press here, and that's how you activate and deactivate the clutch. So now once this engine's running, how do you put it into gear? Well, if the clutch is locked up, you can't really just jam it into gear. So if you just hold a little bit of pressure onto this right here, it will back itself out, being reverse threaded. Now as it backs all the way out, that unlocks the clutch. It has a stop on it so it can't come all the way out. Then you just ratchet it into gear and you're ready to rock and roll. As RPMs pick up, the weights on the CFM auto clutch pull out, it pulls your clutch arm up, and that's what gives you your clutch. You can clutch it, you don't have to if you don't want to. So that's kind of how that works right there. I've never seen another one of these on another bike. Everyone always builds those arms. It's proved to work out pretty well for this. Moving back, we've just done a regular chrome O-ring chain on it. I like the O-ring chains a little bit better, holds a little bit of the oil in with it. Makes it a little bit quieter, doesn't sling it near as much. So now what we've done here, if you guys remember seeing the fiberglass pans, this is one of two seats that I built for this bike. The other one is cut down really, really slim. I particularly like the way the King Queen looks. Now I don't have it mounted permanent right now, just so I can pull it off and show you the underneath side. But what we got here is just a regular King Queen seat. It's been foamed, it's been diamond stitched. The other seat looks identical to this. It just doesn't have the hump for the King and the Queen. So it'll bolt up front, has a hook latch on the back of it. We'll pull it off. Velcro just to kind of help keep it in place. Back side of the seat is all carpeted, keep you from scratching anything. Underneath the seat, everything's been chrome covered. It's got a nice, good AGM sealed 12-volt battery on it, means we converted to 12-volt. Stash tube is in the original down tube. That's where all your identification stuff, insurance, anything that you want to stash, you can just put it into this tube right here. All the wires run through the frame. They're all concealed out of the way. So if you guys remember, we've done every panel on the body a different scheme. Top part of the panel here you can see is just old lace work. Everything come out really, really well. Originally we kind of thought to do silver leafing here. We had it on there. I didn't much care for the way it looked. It's a personal thing, personal taste between the customer and kind of what I liked. So some of the finishing detail on the back side and the sissy bar. So one thing that I do not particularly like is big fat side tags. So a side tag, a lot of you guys already know what the heck it is. Usually bolt onto the axle, they stick way out here, brake light, license plate. I don't really particularly care for those. I really wanted to keep this bike nice and skinny and slim. So what we've done is underneath the seat, I've got a wiring harness that's housed on the front side of the sissy bar, running an LED, brake light, tail light, license plate, has a license plate light right here. So everything stays tucked in, really, really slim. Plus you guys know, riding with an old chop or anything with a side tag, if this is the lead guy and he's on the yellow line, the next guy to the right and back behind him can't really see that brake light very well. Can't really see what's going on. So this puts it at the very back. It's up a little bit higher so people running in cars really can see it a lot better. By switching to LED, it's really, really bright. So we shouldn't have any visibility issues from the back. That's kind of one of the things that choppers aren't really necessarily known for. Usually you put some little Art Deco, really, really small light on it. This is just a tombstone light. What I done with it is I pulled the trim ring and the lens off of a tombstone tail light off of a soft tail, a newer soft tail if you will. I built a backing plate to get it really, really slim, put a gasket on the back, put an LED grid into it. So that's what lets me run literally just the trim ring and the lens. And if you look at it from the side, it really disappears and hides with the sissy bar. Doesn't stick out, nothing hanging off of it for you to catch a leg on when you walk by. Just kind of a slim trick, if you will, detail to it. It's just to keep this bike very minimal, very skinny, and still look somewhat period correct.